Okay, I'm going to start by loading up our training data, which import. Feel free to introduce us to the studio audience. Okay, so what we're loading up now is the training set. He's taken the data from the purchase orders and he's divided some of them for training and some of them for testing. And that's our training set. And I'm going to select the training set and train some predictors with it. So each predictor we create looks at the data and tries to predict a particular thing. And one of the things we've done here is the idea is that the predictors are going to be this modular thing you can add depending on what you actually need for your application. So this case outcome predictor is going to tell us whether, whether it's going to be faster than normal or
whether the case is going to exceed the median case duration or not.
Okay, right. So who's going to blow their deadline is the prediction here.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's set this thing. Now this is the machine learning bit, and it actually does take a fair bit of grinding to... How big is the training set? How many events?
It is around 60,000 events. Yeah, it's quite large.
Okay, it's large. It's actually larger than the training set. Because the training one's
4 times
10,000?
Yeah, I can say for sure. No, more than 10,000. Definitely more than 10,000.
Well, you said a quarter, so it was a quarter of the size, so about 15,000 is probably the number of events in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've created this one, and we'll create a second predictor, and this one is the one that predicts how long it's going to take until it completes. So
100,000 events.
100,000?
Yeah,
so it's actually larger? Oh, the training event's 100,000, okay.
100,000, test is 25.
Okay.
25,000.
And this one actually doesn't use the extra field in here. I've cheated a little bit. The case outcome one needs a particular column that it's predicting the outcome of. The remaining time one just always knows as a time column. So it ignores this column here, so I didn't even use that. What I should do is when you change the predictive method here from case outcome to remaining time, it should like hide all the fields that aren't relevant. Yeah, one of the tricks with this thing is that actually there's a bunch of coefficients, numbers that the training algorithm uses, and we got a separate group of people in Estonia working on how to automatically set those. But for the moment, you've got to set them by hand, and you need to be in Ilya to like kind of figure out what these magic numbers are.
Yes, yeah. You can also mention hyperparameter optimization. So basically, these numbers, they are a result of hyperparameter optimization.
Okay, so we've got 2 predictors. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load the actual test data set.
Yeah, so now pretend that you're actual manager and you want to obtain predictions for a list of ongoing cases.
Yeah, I mean, what we're really kind of aiming for in this system is rather than actually loading this log up, we actually want this stuff to come in live, like from the system. But we're kind of assuming at the moment this is business processes that work fairly slowly and like you get an update once a day so we can actually just move documents around. But the system is designed to actually take this stuff live for a much, much faster evolving system. So anyway, I predictively monitor that test log, and I do that by creating a monitor, which I'll call purchase orders again to keep it consistent. And what we do here is you tick which predictors you've trained you want to use on this stream of events, right? So I'm going to use both of them, of course, and then I tick the predictor, and what I do, I've got a button there that streams the log to the data flow, right? Now, the reason that's a separate step is because the notion would be that rather than streaming a log that's stored in Alphamore to the data flow, we would connect to someone's back-end system. But for the moment, this is where we get our data from. We actually just pull it straight out of a log. And then I open up the dashboard, and this is basically operating as quickly as the predictors can generate the columns. So these last three columns here are the ones that are generated by the predictors. So that case outcome one, that's the one that calculates the percentage chance that this thing's going to go over time. It's going to be slow. And the second predictor, the remaining time one, is calculating this remaining time and then a predicted end time. So those are the actual predictions. And we had a request for showing just the cases that had not yet completed. So what we do over here, this Outcomes tab, this is for each of the cases that are ongoing, this is the most recent event that's come from them and what that case is predicted to do. So this is probably the one where you say, well, what are we doing right now, and what's going to happen with them. And I've added a little button down here which will spit that out as a common separated value field that you can load up into Excel. So if I click this one and then go to my downloads folder, there's a little CSV thing that's just written there. And if I open up, I've got like all the things, all the predictions it's generated in columns, and you could then, generate bar charts or pie charts or move it into other tools that you wanted to use as well. There's also, a better way of doing that at the moment is Ilya's got a script where you could pass the original log file in, and it would generate the full thing as a batch. This one's designed to do it on the live data, right? But Ilya actually has probably a more useful tool for the moment, which does this as a batch. Now, the other thing we need to do is, if we go back to this form here, this particular log has a lot of long-running, ongoing processes, so we don't actually spot what happens when a case actually completes. And that only happens about 800 events into this log.
Yeah.
And until an event completes, we can't, you can see completed cases here, you can see it's like 0 because no cases completed. And we have no average case length because until we have a completed case, we don't have
actually need to talk about this, or you want to, maybe you would like to fast forward to 800?
I think we have to at this point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, we took a break there and skipped forward to the exciting part where a couple of cases actually complete. Okay, not far now, not far now. There we go, a completed case. Finally, a completed case. Yeah. This log is very, very dull because it's all they're all the same color until we finally get some completed cases. Yeah?
It's exactly match.
Hey, cool, that's good too. The end time matches the predicted end time.
Okay, but that is for a very simple reason that after the case.
See, this one doesn't match.
Finished,
That one doesn't match. That was March 18th, March 13th. This one just was a really good prediction.
But Simon, it's a bit of cheating because basically when the log has just finished, it is easy for me to predict because then I just predict zeros.
Yeah, but they don't exactly match. Look, they're actually just close.
Yes, it would be more honest if these predictions they would be after the second to last, not after last, because after the last event, the predictions they're naturally zeros. Yes, quite frequently they come out as zeros. If it's a good
prediction, it should be at least close to 0, but not exactly 0. And that's what we got.
Yes. So. Actually, I like it.
Yes, I like it. I think that this is what we should have.
I like it very much.
Yeah,
I like it.
Good.
You should stress out this part.
We just did.
Stress out.
I recorded that. That's being recorded.
Well, it's like...
There we go.
Yeah. So, let's see.
Okay, I'm done in that case.